the GBC for ISKCON Atlanta. And he is not just GBC for ISKCON Atlanta, many other states in the United States. And he travels the whole world, inspiring people in the practice of Krishna consciousness. He is an ISKCON initiating guru, which means whenever you practice your spiritual life and you need a spiritual master to take you further, he is one of those representatives of Srila Prabhupada that can take you further in your spiritual practices. And see all the books that you read, Srila Prabhupada's books, he is one of the leaders that makes sure that you always have sufficient books for all of you to read. So he's a BBT trustee to make sure that Srila Prabhupada's purity and Prabhupada's message and Prabhupada's books are always in publication and being distributed around the world. So we're very fortunate that he's with us for the last 4 days. Today is his last day, tomorrow he will leave. But he's been doing a lot of programs. Some of you may have attended some of his programs, and some of you may not have attended any of the programs, and this is your opportunity. So I'm going to request you, who here does not have a cell phone? So this announcement is for you. If you can pull out your cell phone and please put it on mute. And if you have children, you can look for a mute button. If there is not a mute button for the children, there is a big button right there. Kamalakshi Radhika. She will take your children and she will teach them about Krishna. So that's your Sunday school. So you can pay attention to what Maharaj is sharing with you. So if you have children, please go down. Kamalakshi Radhika will be there to engage you and to entertain you and make sure that they're protected and sheltered. So thank you very much.
Even for the very little ones today, it will be appropriate. So maybe I can comment.
Even the little babies, it's appropriate because they have little baby center there as well. They have a lot of little babies having fun together. So Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Let's welcome Maharaj. Can you please raise all 4 of your arms? So those hidden 2 arms, bring them out. Ready? Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Carlos, right there.
Jaya Radha Sundari Hari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hari Jaya Gopi Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Bhajan Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Gopi Jana Vallabha Gopi Jana Yashoda Nandana Braja Janarandana Yashoda Nandana Braja Janarandana Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Srila Prabhupada ki Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Let us briefly review the song Jai Radha Madhava by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, who's in our family line of acharyas. And Srila Prabhupada, in commenting on this song, Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Some of you may even have family names from this song. You may have been given the name at birth, Madhava, Yashoda Nandana. This song gives you a perfect picture of the spiritual world. Those of you who have spent some time in the USA, who are from abroad, may know that America claims to be a Christian country that likes to talk about going to heaven. What actually goes on in heaven? Actually, the Bhakti texts, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, describe what is beyond heaven. And that's what this song is conveying to you. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girin Varadhani. Krishna has associates. You don't want to be alone, right? Anyone here want to spend their whole life alone? In a cave in the Himalayas or something? No, you want associates. That's why almost everyone here is a family person. You want your people. Just like in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, first verse. What is the point asked by Dhritarashtra to Sanjaya? My people, what are they going to do? And the Pandavas, the other people, what are they going to do? So everyone likes their group. Krishna has his group, but it's unlimited in number. He has associates. So as we were saying, you don't want to be alone. Someone who is in proper consciousness considers their associates, their relationships, to be the real wealth of their life, more than their property value, their bank accounts, their stocks. What is the quality of my relationships with others? So you would then, why be shocked that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhagavan, has relationships? And those relationships mean the most to Krishna. More than all his unlimited opulences, the relationships with his pure devotees, who simply think of Krishna's pleasure as their all in all. There may be some materialistic tendency in us to think that because Krishna has activities, that means Krishna is mythological. In my last year of university studies, I wanted to study Hinduism under a world-famous professor at Yale. And so I decided to take his class, and one of the prescribed books for reading was a scholar's version of Bhagavad Gita. And I didn't end up taking the course because it met at 8 a.m. And I had a general rule that no classes before 11 a.m. That's the way my fellow university students would look at the situation. So I dropped the course, but I got the books on the reading list and thought I'll study them on my own. And so there was a version of Bhagavad Gita by a British person, British scholar, still known today. And so I bought the book, I took it to my room. There was the verses in the front and the commentary in the back. And so I just flipped to the commentary, just randomly. And what I saw caused something inside my heart to say, trash this book. I read, Krishna is a concept meant to satisfy both the intellectuals and the sentimentalists. Something in my heart said, throw it in the trash bin. I responded through the typical student lens of my time back in the early 70s. This British colonizer ruining the native people of India's book. This imperialist. One day I'm going to find a real translation. And one day I did. 6 months later, I came across Bhagavad Gita as it is. So this misconception that because Krishna has names, forms, qualities, and pastimes, it all must be mythology. Why do we have that bias? We need to be educated in the science of Krishna, Krishna Tattva, to understand that everything about Krishna is 100% spiritual. The material energy is Krishna's shadow energy. That shadow energy is for the bewildered living entities. It doesn't subject Krishna to any illusion. The illusion comes from Krishna, but it's not for Krishna, it's for us, who choose to live a life separate from Krishna. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna himself says, Ichya dvesha samuddena dvandva mohena paharata. All living entities are born in this world overpowered by desire to imitate Krishna and aversion to following the instructions of Krishna. This is our psychological hang-up. We want to be the supreme controller and enjoyer, and we don't want to follow the instructions of the real supreme controller and enjoyer. So this is our hang-up. We've got issues, in other words, as they would say these days. We've got issues. We want to be Lord to ourselves. And we want lots of activities. We want to show our qualities. But we deny that for Krishna. So this fire of material illusion is all consuming in the material world. That's why some of you may know, if you're here ever in the morning at 4:30, when the Guru Vashtik prayers are sung, Samsara Dava Nana Lidala, comparing material existence to a blazing forest fire. Just like now in New York, they're worried that the wildfires in Canada are blowing polluted air down across the northeast USA. The whole material existence is a blazing forest fire. But often investigators can't understand how a forest fire started, because by nature's arrangement, things rub together and that friction produces sparks and the whole forest goes up in flames. So if we're truly intelligent, we can analyze our life in that way. Even though I've taken precautions, even though I've planned against it, I've prayed against it, I've hoped it will never happen, fire breaks out in our life. Distress comes, even though you don't ask for it. This reminds me of a pastime of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He and Lord Nityananda were walking from Navadvip to Shantipur to see Advaita Acharya. So on the way, they passed a house of a Shakta, so-called Shakta sannyasi, worshipping Durga, Kali, and attached to all kinds of sinful activities in the name of Tantra. So, Lord Chaitanya, he's Vishvambar, this is before he took sannyas. He asked Nityananda, whose house is this? And Nityananda replied, it's the home of a Shakta sannyasi and his wife. What did Mahaprabhu say? Let's go in and pay him obeisances. You might think, what's going on here? But Mahaprabhu and Nityananda, their mission is to rescue the fallen souls. So this is all part of their program. Oh, this is a Goswami with a wife and a Shakta sannyasi indulging in drinking and meat eating, etc. Let's go see him. So they go into the house, and Nityananda and Chaitanya offer obeisances. Because the man is wearing the sacred cloth of a sannyasi, although it's red, indicating he's a Shakta Durga worshipper. And so the man becomes attracted by Lord Chaitanya's effulgence. Just like on the altar, Gauranga and attire, so effulgent. These must be the most effulgent Gaurnitai deities in all of ISKCON. At least to my vision. So this man was, this degraded so-called sannyasi was attracted by the beauty of Vishvambar, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And so he decides to give a blessing to Lord Chaitanya. I bless you that you will have wealth, a big family, and a beautiful wife. What was Vishvambar's response? Go, Swami, please. That is not an appropriate benediction for a sannyasi to give. You should give me the benediction that I'll attain Krishna's mercy. What was the Shakta sannyasi's response? Just see, I've heard this is how things work in the age of Kali, and now I'm seeing. You give someone a great benediction and they refuse it. Not only do they refuse it, but they come after you with a stick. So then, Vishvambara, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu begins to explain that there's nothing higher than the benediction to engage in devotional service. But the degraded sannyasi, he couldn't accept that. He said, Tell me, young lad, how does bhakti fill your belly? You may have this devotional service, but does it put food on the table? So then Vishwambara engaged in a dialogue with him. And look, let me explain. Point number one. When a baby appears from the mother's womb, who makes the arrangement that milk comes from the mother's breast to feed the baby? It comes, but who has made this arrangement? Who's caused it? Still, it's coming. The milk is coming. The baby gets fed. Secondly, you don't ask for a fever, but a fever will hit you. So that shows you that things are happening out of your control. Whether you desire it or not, fever comes. The Shakta sannyasi protested that it's natural to enjoy physical indulgences, intoxication, eating. It's just natural. Vishwambara replied, if it's so natural, why do you have to give it up at the time of death? You may say it's natural to have material enjoyment, but at the time of death it's taken away from you. What about that? So Mahaprabhu explained, all this distress you don't ask for, but it's the result of your karma. When I'm doing programs with the general public, I'll try it on you. I'll ask, how many of you have prayed for distress? Anyone here? Oh Lord, please give me misery. Oh Lord, please take all my money away, take my house away, take my family away. You don't pray like that, but still calamities happen, right? Yes. So Vishwambara's point is that just like you don't pray for distress, but it comes, similarly, you don't have to pray for happiness. It's going to come anyway in the correct karmic proportion. This is also Prahlad Maharaj's point, the 7th canto of Bhagavatam. Sukham andrikam daitya deha de yogena dehinam. The happiness and distress is packed into your body at the time of birth according to your karma. You'll get the right proportions of happiness and distress predetermined based on your activities in the past life. So Vishwambara was trying to teach the Shakta sannyasi, you don't have to endeavor for material happiness. You're going to get it according to your karma and not one drop more. But the degraded Shakta sannyasi couldn't accept this. He began to rant and rave. I have been to all the holy places in the world. I have talked with the most intelligent people at these holy places. And now I have to subject myself to this young boy trying to teach me, a young boy who's still drinking milk from his mother's breast. And he's going to teach me something? The Shakta sannyasi got an idea. I think I know the problem. It's the associate of this young boy. Because Nityananda is dressed, sometimes he's avaduta. Sometimes he dresses as sannyasi, sometimes he dresses as this, as that. He's beyond all material rules and regulations. So the degraded sannyasi pointed to Nityananda. I think you're the cause of the problem. You have bewildered this young lad's intelligence. What did Nityananda do? He decided to take the humble approach. He said, don't blame this boy. He's young and innocent. He doesn't know what he's talking about. I know your greatness. Immediately, the degraded sannyasi, his head swelled. Ooh, this one recognizes my glories. So he invited Lord Nityananda and the so-called young boy, stick around, let's have some lunch. Nityananda decided, I think it's time for us to exit. But the degraded sannyasi was pleading that, look, just take a bath, have lunch, rest a bit, and then be on your way. So Nityananda wanted to go, but then he and Vishwambara considered, what is our mission? What's our mission statement? What's our purpose being in this world? To deliver the most fallen. All right, we'll stick around. So they went, Gauranga Nitai went to take bath in the Ganga. And then they came back and they ate some fruit and milk. They didn't eat any of it, the Shakti Sannyasis cooking, just fruit and milk. And while they were eating, the degraded sannyasi was saying to Nityananda, would you like some Ananda? I've got some wonderful Ananda. So Nityananda didn't respond at first. But the Shakta sannyasi kept it up. How about it? Ananda. Then the Shakta sannyasi's wife was watching the whole scene, and she was very much attracted to the beauty of Gauranga Nitai. So she told her husband, just leave them alone, let them eat in peace. So meanwhile, Vishwambara is wondering what's it all about, what's going on. He asks Nityananda, what's this Ananda? Of course, Mahaprabhu is omniscient, Nityananda is omniscient, but this is a Leela. And also, they're sticking around just to deliver the conditioned souls. They'll deliver Jagai and Madai. Why not this one? This is Shakta Sannyasi. So Vishwambara asked him. He asked Nityananda, what's this Ananda? And Nityananda replied, I think he's talking about alcohol. He's talking about wine. Immediately, Vishwambara stands up. Vishnu, Vishnu! He goes, washes his mouth. Let's get out of here. So he and Nityananda run to the Ganga and jump in with their clothes on for purification. So why does Vrindavan Das Thakur and Chaitanya Bhagavat bring this story up? He's showing that Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda will take risks in delivering the most conditioned souls, but they won't associate with Mayavadi impersonalists. When Lord Chaitanya was in Varanasi, the Mayavadi sannyasis, those who deny that Krishna has any variedness, they think Krishna is a production of illusion, his pastimes, his qualities are just meditational devices composed of the material energy, but beyond Krishna is Brahman. Now actually, as soon as you utter the words, beyond Krishna, you're talking gibberish. It's like a baby saying, goo goo gaga. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Matta Parataram Danya, Kirchinasti Dhananjaya. There's nothing beyond me. Not Paramatma, not Narayan, not Vishnu, not Brahman. So these Mayavadi sannyasis, Mayavadi, in case you don't know, Mayavad, the truth is Maya, that everything is illusion except Brahman, and Brahman is undifferentiated oneness with no variety, no individuality, no personality. That means no Krishna with name, form, qualities, and pastimes. So they would consider a Mayavadi, and there's so many of them in India, and they come to the US also. They come to Atlanta sometimes. They would hear you singing Jai Radha Madhava, glorifying Krishna for all his activities and relationships. And they would say, this is a sentimental song meant to focus the minds of the sentimentalists. But when they really make advancement, they'll push all that aside and just meditate on impersonal Brahman. No qualities, no names, no forms. Srila Prabhupada once gave an example of what this notion is all about. He was walking in Mayapur with devotees in the morning in Mayapur Dham. And there was a small ditch to step over. And so devotees accompanying Prabhupada, one of them caught hold of Prabhupada's arm to guide him over the small ditch. You could step over with one step, but still, devotees wanted to make sure that Prabhupada crossed over this little ditch with ease. And so the devotee held on to Prabhupada's arm and helped him across the ditch. And then when Prabhupada finished the step over the ditch, Prabhupada shoved the devotee's arm away. He said, "That's Mayavad." They use Krishna as a prop, thinking Krishna's material, and then when they get to, supposedly, when they get to Brahman, they throw Krishna away. So we don't want to be like that. We want to understand that everything emanates from the Supreme. What does the first verse in Bhagavatam say? Just as the first verse in Vedanta Sutra says? Janmadi Yasataha. Second verse in Vedanta Sutra. The absolute truth is that from which everything emanates. Now, do you ever think about that? Everything means everything. Whatever is there in your human experience and infinite more must come from the ultimate source. So that means families, romance, fighting, everything is there in Krishna as the ultimate source of all loving flavors, activities, qualities, but all those components have not the slightest trace of material imperfection. So often you hear how Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead because he's Bhagavan. Everyone knows what Bhagavan means? Who doesn't? Please raise your hand. Who doesn't know what Bhagavan means? Bhagavan means the possessor of infinite opulences. Once you start thinking of the ultimate source, in that way, things start to become clear. And what are those opulences? The great acharyas have designated 6 main categories of opulence: wealth, strength, fame, knowledge, detachment or renunciation, and beauty. This is what attracts you in the material world. You're attracted to hear about wealthy persons. You want to be around wealthy persons. Did you know that my third cousin knows so-and-so? Ooh. Beauty attracts you. Strength. All these 6 opulences are what attracts you, but Krishna is known as unlimitedly attractive because what? He has these 6 opulences unlimitedly, infinitely. So this is why Prabhupada in the beginning of the Krishna book, Krishna the Supreme Personality of Godhead, how many have read that? Only a few. He writes in the introduction that there has never in human history been a person like Krishna. Because who do you know? Whom do you know who has unlimited wealth, unlimited strength, infinite beauty? You don't know anyone like that. But there is Krishna. So when the Shastra, Srimad Bhagavatam, Vedanta Sutra say the absolute truth is that from which everything emanates, they mean all these opulences. If you don't find them in the ultimate source, where do they come from? But they're reflected pervertedly in the material world. So this is Bhagavan. And we present our case to the whole world. This is God, the possessor of infinite, variegated opulences, and therefore God is unlimitedly attractive. Sometimes you may hear in the USA, those of you from abroad, you may hear the slogan, God is love. What does that really mean to someone who has deep knowledge of Bhagavan? To say God is love means God is infinitely attractive, because how can there be love without attractiveness? But I want to explain to you an even deeper and more scientific way of understanding how Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Periodically, I explain this. Maybe some years ago I explained it here, but you've probably forgotten. Krishna has infinite desires. Do you know what that's like, to have unlimited desires? I often ask, how many desires can you count that you have? Shall you start counting? Number one. What's number one? Money or family? Huh? Money is the honey. So money, and then family, right? My mother, when I was 5, taught me a mantra I never had a chance to use. She said, son, always remember, romance without finance is a nuisance. Didn't have a chance to use it, sorry. So, okay, that's desire number one is money, then family, then what else? Big house, right? What else? Good health, okay. You're only up to 4, you know? And we're talking about comparison to Krishna, who has unlimited desires. Anything else? Throw in something like clean environment, okay? You're a greenie, so clean environment. We're still only up to 5. Number 6, we'll throw something in. World peace. Okay, number 7, fame or social respect. But we're only up to 7. And how are you going to compete with Krishna, who has unlimited desires? Infinite desires. But it doesn't end there. Now, we know what it's like to have a few desires, right? You've got to work very hard to try and fulfill them. You have to struggle. Krishna never struggles to fulfill any of his desires. He has a quality known as Swaraja Lakshmi. He can independently fulfill every one of his unlimited desires. Independently, with 100% success rate. What's the success rate in your trying to fulfill 1 or 2 desires? You struggle, you may get a little something, and then you lose it. So that Krishna is Swaraja Lakshmi means that he independently has the ability to independently fulfill all of his infinite desires. That is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So when you sing Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Balava Girid Bharadhari Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari. You're glorifying Krishna in his relationships with his pure devotees. He's not a loner. He has the best associates. He has the best times. Can you remember when you had a family gathering and everyone was on good terms with one another? How nice it was, yes? 4th of July or Independence Day or Labor Day weekend, you gather the family together. It's nice. Talking memories, discussing future plans, just being together. How can you deny that in Krishna? But he doesn't have to work and take a vacation. Who knows why Krishna plays a flute? No one knows why Krishna plays a flute? No one ever wondered? Krishna plays a flute to show that he's all play and no work. Something you'd love to do. So the more we understand the science of Krishna, the more the blazing forest fire of material existence is reduced and extinguished just by hearing and reciting the glories of Krishna. So, in other words, our discussions about Krishna are not just some selfish indulgence. They are the cure, the remedy for all the world's problems, because the world doesn't understand what is the ultimate source of everything. There may be religious sentiment. I believe in God. What about you? You believe in God? But can you tell me something about God? We just believe, and you should believe. There must be deeper knowledge than that. To accept that there is God is something, but it is not the depths of the knowledge that's available. And the more you understand Krishna, the more you want to love Krishna. Because understanding Krishna means to become aware of his infinite attractiveness, his qualities, his beauty, his activities, his form. All that attracts the devotee to go deeper and deeper into the love supreme, the pure love. So when we sing Jai Radha Madhava, there's a lot packed into that. Bhaktivinoda Thakur has so wonderfully given us that song. And Srila Prabhupada would sing it before every Bhagavatam class, except when he was here in Atlanta. What did Prabhupada sing when he was here in Atlanta before Bhagavatam class? Sing it, go on. Bahudvi. Beautiful. Sabavatar. Kevala Ananda Ganda. Bhaja Bhaja Bhai. Chaitanya Nitai. Sujita Vishpasha Kori. Vishaya Chadiya. Sera Semajiya. Mukhe Bolo Hari Hari. I was here for that as well as Balabhadra Bhattacharya Prabhu. I was sitting right in front of Prabhupada, like that close, soaking it all up. So he made the exception here in Atlanta, in front of those beautiful deities of Gauranga Nitai. And as you go deeper into understanding the science of Krishna, you'll understand better the mercy of Gauranga Nitai. They are Krishna and Balaram coming as devotees to give Krishna away. So this is your great opportunity to extinguish the blazing fire of material existence by knowing Krishna's names, forms, qualities, and pastimes, which are purely spiritual. And the more we hear about Krishna's names, forms, qualities, and pastimes, the more purely spiritual we become. So this is your great opportunity. And finally, if you distribute the glories of Krishna's names, forms, qualities, and pastimes, Krishna becomes yours. So let us all together make progress in hearing about Krishna, talking about Krishna, and giving Krishna to others. Thank you very much. Any questions? No questions? Yes. Sing out.
Thank you for your class. My question is when you're starting off with Krishna and you're
I love it. Starting off with Krishna. The real purpose in life. Go on.
and you were talking about like giving, but if you don't have like the words to describe and to explain, what's the best way to be able to share that?
Share Krishna with others. Krishna is the source of all pleasure. Ooh, he's not interested in that. That's what I thought when I was 21. I was explaining this at some programs here in Atlanta. I was in illusion, victimized by Kali Yuga. But I thought, material pleasure isn't all that everyone makes it out to be. It's deficient, but it seems to be the only game in town. So I guess that's what you gotta do, you gotta play it. But I promised myself, if I ever find about anything better, I'm gonna go for it. But I don't think there's anything better. A few months later, as I said, I came upon Bhagavad Gita as it is. So explain, what is the source of pleasure? You want pleasure. Why? Where does it come from? That will intrigue people. When I was 21, I was thinking that there are two things I have to have. The best pleasure and the best knowledge. And I think the two go together. That's one thing I was right about at the age of 21. It's not easy to be right about something when you're 21. Especially if you're a young man who's 21. Do you know about young men who are 21? What do you know? They are at the peak of the male hormone cycle. So they're walking forest fires. Remember that. Anything else? No other questions? Yes, please.
Class today, Bob. Please accept my humble obeisance. Here's again starting out with Krishna, and you're working towards vegetarianism. How would you suggest, or what do you think is the best way to kind of, should you go cold turkey or wean yourself off?
The best way to what?
To work towards vegetarianism.
Depends on your strength and determination. Once you realize what you're eating, you probably want to stop immediately. If you really understand the full impact of what you're eating. Dead flesh. But if you can't stop immediately, reduce it more and more and more till it's gone. But actually, until you learn how to eat better, it's going to be hard to stay away from the inferior products. So a good part of your bhakti lifestyle is learning how to cook nicely. Because generally, people who don't know about vegetarianism, they think, oh, it must be very boring. But let me tell you, you enter the world of Krishna Prasadam. You've heard about that? You tasted some of it, right? Now, if you could eat like that every day, would you be eating meat? No, there's no way. But as part of your bhakti practice, gradually, you'll learn these arts. Just like you play the drums so nicely. I can't do that, but you know how to do it. Similarly, you can learn how to prepare wonderful food and offer it to Krishna, and then you take it. It's all part of the bhakti lifestyle. So I'm very happy that you're determined to make progress in that way. Excellent question. Yes. Yeah, I see you. Yes.
My question is, it's as you're growing in love with Krishna, there comes a moment that it feels like the presence of Krishna, like it was and not anymore the same. So it goes away, but you're still in love with the Krishna, but then other things start, and it's like Krishna gives you trouble, so he...
Krishna gives you problems, or you give you problems?
I thought that there is some challenges are given to the more you grow into the practice is to make you stronger.
Krishna never tests you more than you've been prepared for. Like a good teacher doesn't spring a surprise test on you, but you haven't been taught the knowledge before. So yes, Krishna wants the best love, because that's the best thing for you and for Krishna.
So he challenges you to understand, make you understand.
He gives you opportunities to increase your love. It may even, those opportunities may look like a material setback, but
Yeah.
the wealth you're gaining is far beyond any material loss or gain. You have to educate yourself to see these things properly. Otherwise, you may become angry. Why is Krishna doing this to me? I had a brilliant business idea. It was going to work.
Like that, like he slashes that for another purpose, or which is much more greater.
Krishna knows how to draw the best love out of you. And we're all individuals, so Krishna does it in different ways for each of us. Just like sometimes, maybe when you were a little kid, your father wanted to give you some medicine, but you wouldn't take it because the medicine's bitter. So the father tricks you. First, take this candy, and then he gives you the medicine. So Krishna has his ways of treating every individual so that they advance in bhakti. Sometimes it seems like he's taking something material away. Sometimes he's giving you a sweet, but everything is leading to, in a devotee's life, everything is leading to increased love for Krishna.
Well, I guess I'm not ready to get angry with Krishna and see the love he's giving me in order to see.
Be angry at yourself. All right? What am I doing with my human form of life? How many more years am I going to waste?
Self-defeating.
Make the best use of the moment now by coming closer to Krishna. Because anyway, all your material assets, what's going to happen to them? You're going to lose them. But you, while you're still alive in this body, have a chance to give what belongs to Krishna, to give it to Krishna and get the credit. Just like you're worshiping the Ganga. How do you do that? You know? You ever worship Ganga? You go to the Ganga, you scoop out a palm full of water, and you offer it back to the Ganga. You get credit even though you simply give it to the Ganga. What is the Ganga? Similarly, by offering your resources to Krishna, you get credit even though those resources all belong to Krishna. Amazing, huh? So don't miss this opportunity. So now we're going to have a little kirtan. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.